watch what you said.
Okay.
It doesn't seem, for example,
I
in the course of your talk, you didn't mention what happened on October 7th once.
Yeah.
You mentioned it as the start of the conflict. You didn't mention...
I don't even think it's the start of the conflict. I actually, if you recall...
So in a talk about Israel and Palestine, about the war currently going on in the Middle East, he fails to mention October 7th once. What does that tell you about it? What does that tell you about how intellectually dishonest these people are? To just brush over October 7th like it never happened when you're talking about the current war is insanity. I don't know how you can go for 2 hours, however long this speech was, and just not talk about October 7th. Insanity.
Started the conversation even before the inception of the State of Israel. There's a deliberate reason for why I did that, because I think it's important to understand the historical context in which violent resistance.
There's no context for murdering hundreds of teenagers, is there?
Yes, I think
really?
There's always context. Just like there's context.
Justified?
I don't think it's a contextual justification. I think it's offering background and analysis. Analysis is not justification. I mean, this is
so he goes back on his word. First he says, no, that's not my position. Oh, wait, no, actually it is. Actually, I do think that there is a context. We are doing this is justifiable. We're committing the horrid acts of October 7th is, relatively justifiable because of Israel's actions previously.
Deliberative body, right? We're in a space for free speech and debate, and I think that this is actually, ironically, one of the things that I don't like about debate is that there is a woeful misinterpretation that exists in this space, and that especially when we talk about certain things, like certain subjects that are very difficult to broach in an open and honest manner, I think a lot gets lost in the nuance. And I think you understand where I'm coming from when I talk about this, like that October 7 is, I've never said that October 7 is like the inception or the first stage in what has unfolded. I think that it's important to understand the context in which violent resistance has evolved, whether it be Hamas or whether it be any militancy against like overarching oppressive colonial actions.
But I suppose what I'm saying to you is there's time for nuance, and there's also time to say something is unequivocally evil and something is unequivocally unjustifiable. And I'm wondering why you can say that correctly about the wealth of Israeli atrocities. But to actually fix this conflict and gain trust with people, you need to say that unequivocally about the murder of hundreds of teenagers at the Supernova Music Festival, their mutilation and often their rape. I don't know why you can't say that.
I don't. First of all, in terms of using the language of mutilation and rape, and also consistently saying that there is a contextual justification for it, I think the violence that states engage in, specifically an apartheid state, which you agree is Israel's an apartheid state. Okay, so the violence that an apartheid state engages in is oftentimes considered to be invisible. There is a tremendous number of documented, there's a tremendous number of speakers and media representatives that have actively communicated.
Okay, so this, lefty actually presents a good argument. He's like, there's no context, there's no point of bringing up the nuance, when something so bad occurs, when something so tragic, so obviously evil occurs, you just call it for what it is. And I think you can draw a parallel to what happened with the United Healthcare CEO. They try to say, oh, look what he did. Look what, the healthcare sort of industry altogether did. And then they justify the fact that the murderer is justified in this act of, heinous murder against this CEO. Which is insane, which is insanity. And that's sort of a bad parallel because the idea that Israel has been oppressing the Palestinians is complete erasure of history, as the Palestinians have always been the ones to initiate the attack, have always been the ones rejecting peace, have always been the ones looking for more and more war and then crying when they lose.
All of the violence that has unfolded on October 7, I myself have also maintained the position that any kind of violence against civilians is completely unjustifiable. But I think it's more productive to at least be a resilient voice that, especially in the West, that tries to explain that these aren't barbaric monsters, that these are horrifying atrocities that they did, right? But that it is not coming out of a place of this antiquated anti-Semitic tendencies, or that they wanted to go out and like do mass rapes, or any number of different ways in which people have, I think, in a very unhelpful way, tried to claim that there is no emancipatory ambition here, and that there is no valid interest in wanting to be rid of Israeli sovereignty.
Do you think that?
So what he just said there was that Hamas are freedom fighters. In short, he said that basically Hamas aren't savages. They aren't anti-Semitic. They aren't looking to destroy the Jewish state. They just want emancipation for their people. So he called Hamas freedom fighters. So he's saying that it's not justifiable, and then 3 minutes later saying, oh, wait, no, they're actually, essentially freeing their people from Israeli oppression.
By invading the Gaza Strip, that they were not motivated by anti-Semitism, given the fact that they were murdering civilians indiscriminately.
Invading the Gaza Strip?
By invading from the Gaza Strip into Israel.
Yeah.
Do you think that they were not motivated by anti-Semitism, given that they were murdering citizens? No. That is remarkable.
No,
the entire logic of Hamas.
Yeah, no, I don't.
On anti-Semitism.
No.
And if you don't recognize that, then you're never going to build any trust with the Jewish community. If you have people who are out there and suggesting that your people...
You see that shrug? He's like, I don't need to build trust in the Jewish community, because that's not his audience. His audience is full of extremists and people that actually want Jews finished, that are actually anti-Semitic, just like him.
Don't have a right to exist. The slogan of the Houthis, who you so admire, is death to the Jews.
I know, and I've been very critical of that as well.
Well,
I don't know if
critical enough not to platform somebody and call him a sex.
This guy, by the way, just to give you some background on him, when the Amsterdam attacks were happening, he was laughing. There's a clip of him like brushing it off, like, oh, that's funny. Oh, it's actually not funny. Oh, actually, it is funny. Like, there are multiple clips of him on stream making fun of Jews getting attacked. So he has zero moral clarity, zero moral high ground. And like this guy says, he has ceded all the moral high ground the second that he justifies October 7th. And I don't think that I need to play any more of this clip for you to understand what a dangerous man this guy is. The fall of Hassan Piker was his own undoing. For more, subscribe to this channel. If you want to help us make more of these videos, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/Jewish Uncensored. That's buymeacoffee.com/Jewish Uncensored. Thank you, and have a good one.